something that is not new to our students here. So we've had roundtables in the past, and they've been participants. And what I love about this group of students is that they're going to tell you exactly what they feel.
That's what we're here for.
So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, man. So this is a real treat. And I would just say, we just mentioned this to some of your teachers upstairs, and I give the boss and the principal, I don't know where Dwayne went, but he's right in front of me. As I said to him when I walked in the door, when I'm in a school, I do what the principal tells me to do. But to the superintendent, who's been a real pioneer here, takes a lot of courage to take the step that you all have taken. By the way, I got my pouch right here. And by taking the step you took and having the success it feels like we've had, although I want to hear from you, and then our shining a light on it by being here, I'm going to announce in a minute a kind of a cool program as part of our budget, which we'll announce in full next week. And these great legislators, Assembly members Begoli and Miller, who are leading on legislation that would sort of allow this to happen many more places. This district is going to have an outsized impact on education in our state that will last for years. And you all are the pioneers in this as well. So incredibly honored to be here again. To the superintendent, to our great principal, Mayor Kyle Miller, and his administrator, John Leach, again to Rosie and Cody. Thrilled to be here. So it's funny, my team, I'm a little bit of an anomaly. My team had to remind me to bring my phone in to the school. And I'll tell you why I'm an anomaly. I'm the former U.S. ambassador, in my case, to Germany. And there are certain parts of the building, including the ambassador's office, which are classified. And you cannot bring phones in. So we used to have little small lockers outside of the classified area that I got into the habit of always putting my phone in, locking it with a key, putting the key in my pocket and going into work. So I'm one of the rare birds that doesn't take his cell phone into every meeting that I'm a part of. But for the most, as I say, I'm an anomaly. This is, we're in a different world even than when I was an ambassador. So we're convinced that what you're doing is really special. Again, my colleagues are putting through legislation that we think will be really important. Rosie is an educator, by the way, for 20-odd years herself. Cody's a volunteer first responder, among other things. We're also going to announce in this budget, which is specific to why we're here today, several $1 million for districts to apply through competitive grants to basically do what you've done, to get the amount of money it takes to buy pouches or to put a plan together. Rosie doesn't do pouches, she does lockers or bins, whatever it might be, but basically to put chum in the water to get other districts to follow in your footsteps. And I don't want to put words in the superintendent's mouth, but I think you said something to the order of this is working for Woodbury, but it may not be the answer for everybody. But something akin to this. So we're going to put money on the line to make this happen faster in other districts. So stay tuned to that. We'll announce that in more detail next week when I announce the budget. Mostly we want to hear from you though. So maybe if I could just ask very simply, maybe start over here. What's this experience been like for you? Y'all can share the mics, is that okay? What's this experience been like? Is it working? Do you like it? Do you feel like it's impacted your school performance, et cetera? And again, thank you for all of you for being here for a few minutes today.
The impact that I feel like it has made is we communicate more, we talk, and like before, I didn't have the best grades, but now this year, when I'm putting my full self, me, in there, I have principal's list, honor roll, and it just gives me a free mind through the day. it helps with your mental health, I feel like. It brings me peace, a free mind, a clear mind. Yeah, at first I did not like it, and I obviously did not want the pouches, but now I see that it has changed, and we all communicate, our grades are better, I talk to my teachers more, and I just feel like it's really good. And
We may want to put you on television. That was a heck of an endorsement. That's huge. Let's just keep going around, please.
Okay, so I do believe that the pouches have been really beneficial, even if not everybody uses them correctly. Like, there's a lot of ways to get around it. There are a lot of problems with the system, but I think just the fact that kids are held to a higher standard to not have their phones out at all throughout the entire day, that extra enforcement allows the kids to then have those benefits that come from not having their phones. And there were concerns, I think people still have concerns, particularly about safety, and also just people are so reliant on their phones that it was really hard for people to adapt. But I do think that the positives so far have outweighed the negatives, in that people are, from what I've seen, more social, and from what I hear, doing better academically.
That's great. Please.
My perspective on the Yonder Pouch is, I think it's great because it helps students more focus in their assignments and tests. And during the first marking period, we saw a lot of improvements. We had a lot of principal lists than last year when I was in 10th grade. And I feel like it has improved a lot, even with safety reasons, and cyberbullying. There's no more taking videos at school, or helping or taking videos at school, or recording TikToks or dances. But I feel like it has improved everybody well, mentally and physically. So that's what I think about it.
That's a heck of an endorsement as well.
Since last year, my grades have improved very, very much. I feel as the phones have been taken away, we have been focused more on our grades, our communicating with friends, more relationships with our teachers. And since last year, I didn't have very good grades because of the phones. It's been a really bad distraction. But now this year, my phone has stayed away, and now I focus more on my grades, and it helps me focus way better on my assignments. I read more, I focus more, I communicate, ask more questions, and that's really helped me a lot.
That's awesome. Let me ask you before we go over here, how are your parents with this? Are they cool?
Yes.
You? Yeah? Can you hit the mic there just in the middle?
yes, my dad doesn't really like it, but he has to deal with it. So.
And his concern is that he wants to be able to get you in an emergency or in a moment.
Yeah, and
right?
I'm the only child. It's just me and my dad, so we're together all the time. So he wants to communicate with me and talk to me, and he's older, so anything can happen. He wants to reach out, but I always let him know that he could call the school. They always answer, and I could call him whenever I want. So.
Yeah, we heard ringing endorsements upstairs that if one of you needs to call home for some reason, there's never a prevention of that happening, that you use a landline in the principal's office or somewhere, and vice versa. We were, in fact, the classroom, and the phone rang twice in the classroom while we were there, so the landline. Okay, that's cool. Thank you guys for doing that. Please, similar question, how's it working for you? Do you support it? How's it changed you?
Okay, yeah, so for me, the pouches, I think, have a very positive impact on the community and the peers around me. To me, what stands out the most is the social impact. I remember last year, I would see everybody, they either have their AirPods in, just head down on their phones, walking through the halls, where I feel like in a case like that, when you're in between classes, you might want to be talking to friends that might not be in that class, but I guess that was just a me thing, or more to my peers. But this year, I can see the major difference with people not having their phones and not having AirPods. You see people walking in the halls with each other now. You see everybody interacting with each other, and like Blessing said, the social impact that you see in the halls is really noticeable and something to take account, as well as being attentive in class. Yep. I personally, last year, I had a lot of privilege of being on my phone. I felt I was given a lot of leadway from some teachers, and that did distract me from my work, even though I would try to put my full effort after class.
Yep.
But this year, because I don't have the phone with me, I'm more attentive, and I can see that not only just with me, but my peers. Another note,
good.
it's really nice not seeing everybody in the halls doing TikToks, because that blocks the traffic, and that was a lot that I just did not like last year.
God bless you. Thank you.
I didn't like it at first, but then when I realized that people like are paying more attention in classes and actually like raising their hands and socializing with each other, and even in the hallways, you're making new friends and socializing. It's better for everyone and their mental health and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I like it now.
I should have asked everybody what grade you're in. Just, you don't have to, that's all right. 11? 12?
11th.
10th.
10?
I'm a 12th grader.
9th.
All right, well, okay.
Well,
12th?
11.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Please.
I feel like as a senior, Caitlin, myself, Cassandra, and Colin, we're all seniors. So obviously we're like, oh my God, the world's going to end if we don't have our phones.
Yeah.
But as soon as we got into the school, after summer ended, it wasn't an issue. Some of us really like to promote the idea of living in the moment and not being so in our phones. And I feel like that really helped, I guess, the seniors connect, because it's really important to know everybody in your class, especially if we're going far away.
Yeah.
So I feel like the pouches really helped us with that aspect. And also, I mean, in the social skills. But I was a junior last year. I had a couple AP classes. And being able to be on my phone kind of distracted me. And I would say sometimes my performance in those classes weren't what I wanted them to be. But I do think it's because I had my phone with me the entire time. I could feel my notification and I would pick it up. And that was something that affected my test scores. And now as a senior, I'm in my classes. And now that I don't have my phone, I don't have to worry about who's texting me, who's calling me, who just followed me on Instagram. That's not something I have to worry about anymore, and I can be head-on in my classes. I don't have to worry about what my Snapchat score is. Like, that's some things are so unimportant in our lives that we care about, and I think now that we don't have these phones, we don't have to care about it in school.
I love that. I love that.
For me, it was like, of course, at first I didn't want to lock away my phone, and I know a lot of people around me didn't either, but I feel like once we started to get into it and like have that rule, or at least like enforcing that you can't have your phone out and just be walking around, I feel like it helped students like build a relationship more, not with like peers, but like with teachers too.
Sure.
Because I know like what she said for like AP classes and stuff like that, not only me, but like peers I would see, especially like early in the morning when they can't get something, they'll just like shut down and start going on their phone and like scroll instead of trying to communicate with the teacher. So I feel like taking away phones, that helps build a relationship with that.
Can I ask one? I know the clock is not our friend, so I'm just going to ask one more quickie. How has it impacted when you do your homework at home? It's after 2:37 in the afternoon. Has it made a big difference? Have you developed different habits there as well?
Yeah, I feel like when I go home, I can take like what I learned from the class and like apply it, and like I focus on my work more, just like how I do in class.
Others want to weigh in on that?
Since I'm in Miss Lufke AP class, English, I get to go home and I actually remember what is going on in class, because when we had those phones, my attention span was just horrible. So now when I go home, I can remember everything that goes into a sonnet.
That happened. That's cool. How about you guys?
When we had our phones, I wasn't really paying attention in class. I was just on my phone the whole time. And when I went home and did my homework, I would use my phone to do it, like Google it.
Yeah.
But now that we don't have our phones, I pay attention in class and I learn stuff. So I can do it myself when I get home.
That's great.
To me, I would say yes, it has helped in the homework aspect, but more so than ever that I think is important to our society as a whole is it helps us build a self-discipline because of how much we're attached to our phones nowadays with the internet constantly evolving. It's something's always happening, and a person just feels like they always want to be a part of something. But with having that phone out, I've seen not only myself but peers, when they get out of school, they're not just pulling out their phones now as they did in first March period.
Right.
They're walking home with people still, continuing that social mobility and everything.
You
so.
build new habits, basically,
Yeah.
right? Do you all see it similarly?
So now that the phones are gone, now,
Are you speaking on behalf of the entire 10th grade class here?
yeah. So now that the phones are gone, I can focus more. I can remember more. Now, Avid has taught me how to take notes, focus more. Now, phones are gone. Now I can take my notes home. I can use that and I can apply it to my homework.
Very cool.
And
No, we heard you.
yeah,
I love that. Real quick, any other, have you seen it different? No, at home, do you feel it differently?
I feel like there's a difference at home because when we used to have our phones, we use like all types of AIs and
Sure.
homework helps to help us with our homeworks. But since we don't have our phones now, it has helped us a lot because we are really focused into the assignment and we're taking notes to understand it. And when we go home to apply the notes to our homework, we understand it and get A's.
I think this is a big hidden benefit to this whole program. Please.
Yeah, I think for the
Mr. Flynn.
longest time, I would get like kind of anxious when I didn't have my phone with me and I was out in public, like if I couldn't feel it in my pocket, just because we're so reliant on our phones.
Yeah.
But I think being able to separate from my phone for 4 or 5 hours a day in school has made it easier outside of school,
Interesting.
just to not need it as much. Like I can leave it wherever, and as long as I know where it is and I'm not actually worried that it's going to get stolen or something, I don't need to be around it. I don't need to feel it.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Also, what Caitlin said, like, I still remember what happened in class. And I feel like I'm present in the moment. And when I get home, it's like, this is a walk in the park. It's so easy for me to do because we just did it in class. And I still have that same knowledge from class. And, like, the chat GBT, AI, all of that type of stuff, like, it's not even in my mind no more because I'm so used to chat GBTing in class and school, but
I love that. Plus, your dad's happy when you're home. Rosie and Cody, any words, parting brief words of wisdom from the legislator?
Well, I'm going to thank you all because you're really going to help me with my 3 sons who are sophomores and seniors. I had the senior was with me at the State of the State, and I had not told my children that I was the face of the cell phone ban in schools. My son turned around and said to me, yes, my son turned around and said to me, "Oh, I'm glad I'm a senior and I don't have to deal with this." My sophomore called me immediately after and said, "Mom, they're going to come for us in school because you're doing this." And I said, "It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine." So hearing you today is going to help me, and it's going to help. I'm going to show all of you to my kids, and I'm going to say to them, "See, it's working. It's going to be okay. And you're going to survive your last 2 years of high school." So thank you all. It was really great hearing everything
Really
you had to say
special.
today.
Hey, by the way, we're taping this so you can show it to your kids.
That's what I meant.
Right?
This is going to help.
I love that. Cody.
Yeah, I just want to say, look, this was really tough for me because I'm the type of person that always has my phone on me. So I want to give you kudos for adjusting to this. But as Rosie said, as the governor said, our goal, as we're seeing now, is to ensure that students have the ability to learn within the classroom and that there aren't distractions and you get the time to focus. So when you decide to, take your test, when you're taking your tests, you're retaining that knowledge. So we're really happy to see that this is working. I really appreciate the governor taking on this issue and Rosie, and we just want to see you all succeed. And we're seeing right now that you're succeeding because of the fact that you don't have these in the classroom. Thank you.
I'll end where I started, which is to say Woodbury's going to have a huge knock-on impact. So you all are pioneers of something that's even bigger than this school or this district. I want to thank again the mayor, the principal, and our great superintendent. Andrew, ask you if you have any last words of wisdom before we break.
Just really quickly, the first thing I want to say is thank you to the students. When I met with them last spring, they probably thought I was insane, but as a superintendent and a parent who has 2 students that go here I did worry about those things for my daughter and my son, but what I want for my children, I want for every child in Woodbury, to the administration, Principal Dobbins, Principal Himmons, to our board members who helped us write this policy, to our entire school community. This embodies what Woodbury is. Woodbury is a tight-knit community, and I knew that, if we set the expectation that our kids would meet it, and they have met it, and I hope that you all understand the impact that you all are going to have across the state. And I'm so proud of you all today, and proud of the school community. Governor, thank you for taking the time to come to visit us today. Everybody, Mayor Miller, everybody that's here. It's a proud moment. I'm proud superintendent today, and we have a lot more work to do, and we're not over. It's not done. But thank you all. Thank you.
And by the way, amen to everything you said about the students. Really impressed by each and every one of you. Good luck to you, particularly to the seniors in life's next chapters. And I'm announcing our budget next week, and who's going to be one of my very, very, very special guests? The man to my left, your superintendent, will be with me in Trenton. God bless you all. Thank you.
Can we do a team photo?